Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Leela Web Dev. In this video, we will learn about the Unix file permission, a super important topic. If you are working on the Unix based system like Linux or the Mac OS, and if you have ever got about this type of errors like permission denied error, something like that, so don't worry, this video is for you and I will explain why it happens. This is all because of the file permissions issue and how we will fix it. Let's try to see it. Let's get started. So now whenever you are in your terminal, so whenever you are trying to run the script, say let's say that if I try to do the ls-l, so here we are having this one, right? Let's say that we are having scripts.sh file, right? So whenever you are trying to run the scripts.sh file, so scripts.sh file, and if I press enter, so here you will be able to see this permission is denied, right? So now you will be able to get this type of errors. So this is just because of the file errors. So normally every file in the Unix system has three types of permission. That is nothing but read, write, and also an execute. So these three types of permissions you will be having. These determine what you can do with a file. So read means just you can read the view. We can view the file contents like opening it in a text editor or using the cat. And write means you can modify the file like editing or saving changes, and execute means you can run the file as a program or a script like a shell script or a compiled binary. A file can have any combination of these permissions or none at all. For example, let's say that a file might be readable but not writable or executable. Understanding this is the key to fix these type of errors. So normally to see a file's permission, we use the command ls-l. So ls-l, if you try to type this one in your terminal, this lists the files in a long format showing their permission. So if you try to see example below, so this might be looking confusing at the first, but it's simple once you break it down. So these permissions are shown in the first column. So here you'll be able to see read, write, hash, write, read, like this you'll be able to see, right? So the first character, so which is the dash here, the first character which is showing is nothing but an here it is like an it's a regular file. So if it is a regular file means then you will be able to see the hyphen. If it is a directory means then you will be able to see a D. So for example, let's say that I will create mkdir test folder. So if I try to do the ls-l here, so you will be able to see the D option. So D represents the directory. Okay. So there are also other types like sockets and all those things. We will cover these in another time. So the next 9 characters which you are able to see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These next 9 characters, these are split into 3 groups of 3. So representing permissions for first 3 represents the owner. So the user who owns the file like Leela here, and another one is a group of users like staff, and that's everyone else not in the owner or the group. Each group has 3 letters: R for read, W for write, and X for execute. A dash represents that the permission is not granted. So in our example, RW hyphen R hyphen hyphen R hyphen hyphen means the owner Leela can read and write, the group staff can only read, and the others can only read. So that is the thing. So the next one, what I want to tell you is the understanding the owners, groups, and others. So in Unix, every file has an owner and a group. You can see this one in when you type the ls-l command, you can able to see. So next to the permissions, you will see the owner's name like Leela here, and also group name like staff. Unix lets you create multiple users and assign them to the groups, which is great for managing the access. For example, the owner might have full permissions while the group has limited access, and others may even have less. You can change owners or group permissions with commands like chown and also chgrp. So, there's more advanced Unix admin stuff. For now, we will be focusing on only development software. Let's stick to the permissions only. So fine. Let's go back to our permission denied issue. So you are trying to run the scripts.sh file. So here we are trying to run the scripts.sh file. So whenever I'm trying to tell, it is giving you the permission denied. So but it fails. This happens because the file doesn't have the execute permission for you, the current user. So here the file doesn't have the execute permission. So here is the catch to execute a script. So it needs to be both read and execute permissions. Why? The system needs to read the file contents before it can run them. If you have only the execute permission means but not read means you will still get the permission in it. So to fix this one, what is the permission denied issue? So we use the chmod command which stands for change mode. So it lets you modify the file's permission. Here is how it works. Let's say we have scripts.sh file with no permissions for the owner. So run ls-l, so we will be able to see it. So now what I would be trying to do it is I would be trying to give the executable permission for this one. So here I can do chmod u means here user, the owner, and plus means I am adding the permission. So here I will be giving the x permission for this one, okay, or otherwise okay, x permission for this one. That's it. So x permission for this one, and I will be trying to do the scripts.sh file. That's it. So now if I try to do the ls, so here now you will be able to see that it has both read, write, and execute permission also it is having. So that is the main thing. So now you have the execute permission. So let's try to run this one ./scripts.sh file. If you try to execute this one directly, it will be executing. So without any problem, it is executing. So now there is a difference between running a script directly with script.sh file like this or running it within bash. So here if you try to run the bash scripts.sh file, so this one also runs, or G shell also you can do it. So when you use the /scripts.sh, your current shell executes the file directly. So here when you are trying to use the bash and something like that, your current when you are using // directly, your current shell, so the shell which you are using, it executes the file directly, but it needs to have the execute permission. So when you are using the bash or G shell, you are telling the bash shell to read and interpret the file contents, which only requires read permission. That's it. That is why bash script.sh might work even if the script.sh fails. It's not relying on the execute permissions. However, running it directly is cleaner and doesn't spawn a new shell process. So one last thing to clarify, there is a difference between a unique executable file and a shell script like script.sh. A unique executable file like the ls or the cat commands in /bin is a compiled binary machine code, or your CPU can run directly. So you can see this one in the /bin. Open. If you try to see this /bin, so you will be able to see these are Unix executable files. So here you'll be able to see this is a Unix executable file. Okay. So whereas this so now here if you try to see, notice they all have the execute permission owned by the root. So if you try to see here, we try to you can more or other. So let's go to here cd/bin and here ls-l. So here you'll be able to see all of them. So the owner is having the read, write, execute permission, and the user is having read and execute permission, and the others are also having read, execute permission. So here notice that they all have the execute permission and are owned by the so here this is owned by the root, and so like this you are having. So this is the type regular file, and they are ready for your CPU to execute without an interpreter. A shell script like script.sh, so which you are able to see cd slash /code here cd node.js, and if I try to go to the Unix, so here if you try to check it ls-l, so this is not an executable file. So if I try to check this one, so here is the Unix, and if you try to click on the script.sh, so here it is a shell script code. Okay, it's a terminal startup program. So here if you try to see, this is not a thing, it's a text file for your shell, interprets and contains instructions. Both need the execute permission to run directly, but scripts also need a shell to process them. So that's it. So now if you try to run permission, so you can give the permissions and all those things. So now if you want to check the user who you are, okay, so if you want to see who you are in the terminal, means just run who am I. So then you'll be able to see the Leela. So if I try to do sudo who am I, then it will ask you for the password. So just give the password, then it will tell you that is the root. Okay, so that is the thing. So current username like Leela. If you run sudo who am I, it will and enter your password, it will show the root, the super user with full access. So that's it about this one, all permissions. So that's the essential of Unix file permissions. To recap what we have did, to see the permissions, we need to use the ls-l. Permissions include read, write, and execute for owner, group, and others. Use chmod u plus something like that for to add read and write permissions for the owner, and use chmod u plus x like this to make it executable. Scripts need both read and execute permissions to run directly. Unix executables are compiled binaries. That's it guys about this one. So hope you understood about this concept permissions thing. So if you want to learn more about this, I have already covered a Linux playlist. So you can, for more details, you can watch there. If you have any notes or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.